Coming up on KOTA Territory News at 5:30, Pennington County and Rapid City officials gear up to take action against the opioid crisis. Plus, Senate Majority Leader John Thune weighs in on the death of former U.S. Vice President Dick Cheney last night. And Governor Larry Roden opens up about the feasibility of funding food assistance programs. Your news starts now.
From Skyline Drive, this is KOTA Territory News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Jack Cottle. Governor Larry Roden has pushed back on a proposal from state Democrats to use state money to keep SNAP benefits funded through the shutdown. KOTA Territory's Blake Trolley has the story.
Democrats from both state legislative chambers have sent Governor Roden a letter urging him to call a special election to allow state budget reserves to guarantee SNAP funding for up to 3 months should the shutdown continue. The Democrats say interrupting the funding would harm working families and destabilize local economies through hits to grocery and retail stores. Roden pushed back on the proposal yesterday, saying the state does not have the ability to actually upload money onto the cards. Even if the state could, Roden says he would not support it.
The cost of SNAP in South Dakota is $15 million a month. First of all, we don't have that kind of coin running around to do that for any extended period of time. Second to that is the federal government has made it clear that those dollars wouldn't be reimbursable. And I don't think it's fair to put that on the backs of South Dakota taxpayers.
Roden says he does believe it's fair to ask South Dakotans to donate if they choose, speaking highly of the state's strong history of giving. Roden used his weekly column last week to urge South Dakotans to donate if they can. Ultimately, Roden points to Congress to fix the issue.
The answer to all this is for him to get to work in Washington, D.C. and reopen the government.
Dan Allers, executive director of the South Dakota Democratic Party, disagrees with Roden on the issue. Allers believes the state does have enough money to cover the benefits. He pointed to the state's $63 million budget surplus last fiscal year as evidence.
That's 4 months worth of SNAP payments. And we can call a special session, we can allocate those dollars, and we can figure out a way to dispense it. We are able to dispense TANF, and we can do TANF. We can figure out a way to do SNAP.
Allers pointed out that he served in both the state House and state Senate and was a member of the appropriations committees in each chamber. Allers furthermore arguing that now is the time to tap the budget reserves.
That money's called the rainy day fund. We hear about it all the time, rainy day. Well, when is it ever going to be a rainy day? I've been around for 20 years, involved in politics at some level, and we keep hearing about the rainy day fund. What is a rainy day? What constitutes a rainy day? Right now, we got 75,000 families that are going to go without food assistance.
Right now, there are currently about $413 million in state budget reserves. Josie Harms, press secretary for Governor Larry Roden, sent KOTA Territory News a statement Tuesday afternoon reading, calling a special session wouldn't change the math. Spending state reserves still takes a 2/3 vote of the legislature, and the legislature can call itself into special session by that same supermajority. And that level of support simply isn't there. In Rapid City, Blake Trolley, KOTA Territory News.
Many people across the U.S. and here in South Dakota are stressing out over the uncertainty surrounding SNAP benefits, with the White House pulling a 180 today and saying it will follow plans to partially fund critical food aid. Just hours earlier, President Donald Trump threatened to withhold assistance until the shutdown ends. But now people struggling in Pennington County are getting some badly needed positive news. The county's Human Services Department and the John D. Vukurovich Foundation are joining forces to give up to $100,000 in rent assistance. Today, the Pennington County Commission approved the funds. Human Services Department Director Barry Tice says since they provide rental assistance every day, the department felt there was a way to help with additional rent, with people able to use that money toward food needs.
We're just kind of waiting because it's such a fluid situation on determining what the administration decides with the funding and if individuals will be receiving that funding, but we wanted to make sure that we have a plan in place should it not be available.
Anyone needing rental assistance can contact the department at 605-394-2156. They can be found at 130 Kansas City Street, and they're open Monday through Friday from 6:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. Former Vice President Dick Cheney died Monday at the age of 84. Cheney was remembered on the Senate floor today by Senate Majority Leader John Thune.
Like many Americans, I was saddened to learn this morning of the death of former Vice President Dick Cheney. Dick was a lifelong public servant who believed very deeply in our country and brought his considerable knowledge and intelligence to its service. As Secretary of Defense and later as Vice President, he played a key role in shaping policy on many of the most consequential issues of his day. He was also an avid outdoorsman and fly fisherman who loved spending time in the mountains of his home state.
Thune also said he enjoyed having him in South Dakota and showing off some of what the Mount Rushmore state has to offer. Well, quite the warm day today, though it did get a bit windy this afternoon. What does the second half of the week look like? Chief Meteorologist David Stradling is here to let us know. I tell you what, it was another oddly warm November day out here today.
Yeah, Jack, the Rapid City Airport hit 80 degrees for a high temperature today. I believe that breaks the record high that they have of 79, so we'll have to keep an eye out on that as we get some information in here within the next few minutes. 55 was a high in Buffalo, 79 in Pine Ridge. Very warm, but those strong winds today were a part of a front that passed through and dropped those temperatures about 10 degrees with wind gusts up to 50 miles per hour in some spots. Our temperatures right now, many in the 40s, a few still hanging on to the 50s. Edgemont and Pine Ridge right around 60. Winds are still a bit breezy in western South Dakota. Those winds will continue over the next couple of hours before weakening, but we are going to continue to monitor some more temperature swings, more wind as well. Also, with moisture chances moving into the forecast, that'll bring us some changes for your weekend. Details on all of those topics are coming up in my full forecast coming up.
The opioid crisis has been scarring families in the U.S., including South Dakota, for years. Now, Pennington County and Rapid City officials are ramping up efforts to fight the ongoing issue head on. The newly formed Rapid City Opioid Committee, which includes Pennington County Sheriff Brian Mueller and County Commissioner Ron Weifenbach, are working with Rapid City and Monument Health and applying for state opioid funding, with the Rapid City Council approving a $540,000 opioid settlement allocation yesterday. Expect more funding to come through. Mueller said the county put close to $300,000 in opioid funds into their 2026 budget. He adds this would allow the city to put nearly $250,000 to go toward the Care Campus budget. The funding would help support services at the campus and Monument Health.
We've been having discussions with leadership at Monument Health and as to bring them on as a one-third partner potentially at the Care Campus to be a venture set up similarly to how they do the Link in Sioux Falls right now, with a partnership between the medical community, the city, and the county.
Mueller says the committee will be applying for several local projects to try to maximize the opioid funds and save tax dollars. City Alderman Stephen Tamang is the chair of the Rapid City Opioid Committee and says they'll be meeting tomorrow to endorse the projects by submitting a letter of support to the South Dakota Department of Social Services. Since the summer of 2022, Pennington County South Rochford Road has been receiving a nice makeover. With that reconstruction nearly completed, the project has not come without criticism from people living in the area. The issues that arose due to the project led to a meeting held by the Pennington County Sheriff's Office and the Highway Department at the Rochford Volunteer Fire Department last month. We spoke to a concerned resident living in the area at the time who said the road improvements led to speeding issues and an uptick in traffic. To help find a solution, today Sheriff Brian Mueller and the Highway Department discussed with the Pennington County Commission potentially creating a 35-mile-per-hour speed zone on about 1.4 miles on the north end of the road.
That's through most of the heavier residential area, and we'll be out there doing education, county highway and through the sheriff's office with our local residents, and then hit it hard for educational opportunities and safety issues when the summer tourists show up.
The current speed limit on South Rochford Road is 45 miles per hour. The commission asked the Highway Department to bring a recommendation back for the exact area where the new speed zone would be created. It was a relatively warm and sunny day in KOTA territory. We'll let you know how the rest of the week is looking in your accurate First Alert forecast coming up later. But first, a local dealership holds an auction to benefit nonprofits. That story's next. Motorsports enthusiasts, vintage lovers, and community supporters get ready for an online auction featuring unique items with all proceeds directly benefiting 2 local nonprofits. Rice's Rapid City Motorsports is gearing up for a special Victory Motorcycles online auction on Wednesday. Among the unique items of Victory memorabilia are signs, stands, posters, banners, trinkets, and more. 100% of all proceeds will directly benefit 2 vital local nonprofits, Youth and Family Services Girls Inc. and the Club for Boys.
Well, this auction is really great. Wade Rice has been so generous, not only for the Moonlight Madness poker run he puts on every year, but also having this auction, the money goes straight to Girls Inc. and helping us accomplish our mission.
You know, I don't care if it's $5 or $105, all the money goes to a good cause, so we're hoping people will give with their hearts.
For more information about the auction or these nonprofit organizations, you can visit our website. Chief Meteorologist David Stradling is tracking more wind and big changes by the weekend. Details are in your accurate First Alert forecast next.
Now, the First Alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist David Stradling.
The sun is set thanks to daylight saving time coming to an end. We now have pre-5 p.m. sunsets all the way until January 30th. Yeah, we're going to be waiting a little while until those sunsets return to the 5 p.m. hour. It's still pretty mild this evening. We have a lot of 40s and 50s on the map, still near 60 in Pine Ridge and over towards Edgemont, 40s through much of northeast Wyoming, southeastern Montana, and northwest South Dakota. It's 54 in downtown Rapid City, 53 in Piedmont, but we're already seeing 40s towards Sturgis, Spearfish, Belle Fourche, even out towards the Whitetail Peak area. Mount Rushmore, 52. But as we look overnight tonight, temperatures will cool off into the low to mid 30s for many of us in KOTA territory. Skies will be clearing up, so those clouds will be pulling away, and we'll notice winds weakening. It's still a bit breezy in some spots right now, but winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour this evening will vanish to about 5 miles per hour by the time we get to the morning hours. For tomorrow, we'll have a high temperature of 57. It will be a bit breezy, not as warm as that 74 we had today in downtown Rapid City, and 80 out at the airport. And it is official that 80 at the airport today did break a record high of 79 set back in 1999. So we had a record-breaking high temperature out towards the Rapid City airport. Breezy for tomorrow. 30 to 40 mile per hour winds are expected for many. We'll notice those winds picking back up over the next couple of days. But for now, we'll notice a fair amount of sunshine mixing with a partly cloudy sky at times tomorrow, becoming partly to mostly cloudy Wednesday night into Thursday. Thursday, we will notice a little system passing through, a weak front that moves through Thursday afternoon and evening, bringing the chance of a few showers to KOTA territory. Maybe some snow showers mixing into the Black Hills, but I don't expect really many impacts out of those snow showers as they pass through. Our wind speeds will be gusting up to about 40 miles per hour at times tomorrow. For Thursday, you could say pretty much the same thing. The strongest winds will be into western South Dakota, especially the northwest part of the state. Friday, we do get a break from that wind, but it will be coming back in full force as a stronger front moves through Friday night into Saturday. Wind gusts 50 to 60 mile per hour will be possible at times, especially across western South Dakota throughout the day on Saturday, and that's going to bring in some much cooler air for our weekend. Only 45 on Saturday. We wanted to kind of first alert, give you a heads up on that wind that we have coming in on Saturday. By Sunday, down to 41. Some spots not even getting out of the 30s, but above normal temperatures will likely return for next week, Monday the 10th through Friday the 14th, and we'll notice some moisture chances staying below average across KOTA territory during that same time period. Overnight tonight, temperatures falling into the 30s, skies clearing up, winds weakening. Tomorrow, breezy conditions pick back up. Not as warm, but still above average with highs in the 50s for many. Even some spots in the 60s, especially towards Sheridan and Gillette. For the next 3 days in northeast Wyoming, temperatures remain in the 50s and 60s, so not too bad as we wrap up our first full week of November. And then for the Black Hills, we'll have similar temperatures, though a little bit cooler up into the higher terrain of Deadwood, Custer, Lead, and all those locations. For the South Dakota Plains, Thursday will be a bit blustery. Out towards Buffalo and Faith, temperatures still looking pretty good in the 50s and 60s. For Rapid City, we'll be pretty warm until that cooler weekend moves in with windy conditions on Saturday. We'll keep an eye out on that one for you as I'll advise advisories or warnings may be needed, but by Monday and Tuesday, we're already back above normal in the upper 50s to mid 60s.
Got a feeling, though, we could have seen the last of the 80s for a bit.
Yeah, it might be a little while. Next week does look pretty warm again, 50s and 60s, maybe near 70 for a day, but 80s maybe numbered on that.
All right, thank you very much, David. Well, coming up, high school volleyball teams are ready to take the court for regional playoff matches tonight. Plus, we check in with the Douglas volleyball team as the Patriots look to play well down the home stretch. Vic Quick has all the details next in KOTA Sports.
And now, KOTA Territory Sports, sponsored by your local Ford stores.
Happy dinner time, everybody. The Region 7A volleyball playoffs crank up this evening. Second-seeded Lakota Tech takes on St. Francis. The Tatanka enter the match with an impressive 30-12 record. Four-seeded Pine Ridge is also on the court to take on Little Wound. Tonight's winners advance to Thursday's SODAC 16 qualifiers. The Douglas volleyball team is heading down the home stretch. The Patriots play at Sturgis tonight and wrap up the regular season by hosting Spearfish on Thursday. Head coach Sarah Tucker has a pretty inexperienced team to work with this season, but the players are gaining some valuable experience. The future of the program looks bright as Coach Tucker has a strong freshman class. This year's squad is led by its three seniors, Olivia Harris, Ramsey Johnson, and Elena Newholy. The trio sets a great example for the younger players.
You know, this year we have a whole new group of girls, I feel like. We have a lot of girls that don't have a ton of varsity experience, so we're able to get some of those young kids in. We've got a bigger roster this year than we've had in the past. So instead of having one really dominant hitter on the outside, we have four that can get the job done. So we're just going to be able to kind of recycle through some players and get them some good time this season. Our strength right now, honestly, is our communication. They're gelling really, really well on the floor. They're just communicating. They're trusting each other. They're getting to their spots. They know that they need to have that next ball mentality if something isn't going our way.
Region AB high school volleyball teams are ready to take the court for some big playoff matches this evening. Top-seeded Harding County hosts Timber Lake. The Rangers head into the match with a 25-3 record. Second-seeded Lemon will square off with McLaughlin. The Cowgirls are 26-5 on the season. Region 7B high school volleyball teams are also ready to take the court for some big matches tonight. Top-seeded Benedict County squares off with New Underwood. The Warriors racked up a 33-5 regular season record. Second-seeded Dakota also takes on Wall tonight. The Cougars are 25-7 on the season. Let's jump on in for another edition of Big Ol' Fish. And this evening, August Anderson is our featured angler. August, with a little help from his dad, reeled in this nice-looking 22-inch trout out of Center Lake at Custer State Park. Congratulations, August, and best of luck in the rest of your fishing endeavors. You too can be featured on a Big Ol' Fish. Just send us your picture by using the Submit Photos link at KOTATV.com. Make sure and give us the name of the person who caught the fish, what kind of fish it is, how big it is, and where it was caught. Get those pictures in, and we will get you on Big Ol' Fish. Region 8A high school volleyball teams also hit the court tonight for the first round of their playoffs. Second-seeded Rapid City Christian taking on Belle Fourche, and I'll have highlights of that for you coming up tonight at 9 and 10 o'clock. Regular season action tonight. Stevens also taking on Spearfish in a big match. All right, that's going to do it for sports. We'll be right back after this short timeout.
Well, Bagel in the Street is back this year. You can join us on Friday, November 14th from 6:30 to 9 a.m. This year, we're moving to the parking lot of Trinity Lutheran Church next to Hardee's in downtown Rapid City. Here's the map. Stay in the right lane on St. Joseph Street. Turn right onto 4th Street into the parking lot of Trinity Lutheran Church. For your donation, you get a huge white chocolate chip bagel, baked fresh from Black Hills Bagels, and a freshly brewed gourmet coffee from Dark Canyon Coffee or a Pepsi product. All proceeds will help feed those who are struggling in our community, and this year the need is great. So please join us for the KOTA Territory Care and Share Food Drive Bagel in the Street on November 14th. Probably not going to hit the 80s that day.
No, not quite the 80s, but it shouldn't be too bad. Looking towards the end of next week, we'll likely have highs in the 50s and 60s.
That'll work.
Lows probably in the 30s and 40s, so it's not going to be terribly cold for us, which is good news. We'll wake up tomorrow morning in the 30s around 5 and 6 a.m., warming up into the 40s. Not as warm tomorrow. We're not going to have 70 70s coming up, but we do have upper 50s and mid 60s Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Cooler for the weekend, 40s on tap for Rapid City. Windy, that wind could gust up to 40 plus miles per hour, maybe even up to 60 miles per hour sometimes. So we want to kind of give you a first alert heads up on the chance for some of those very strong winds. But by next week, we're back above normal in the 50s and 60s.
That's good news.
It is.
All right, that'll do it for us. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you tonight at 10.
Thanks for watching KOTA Territory News, your local news and weather authority.